My apologies in advance. This homily might be a little short, as it was originally prepared for a baptism and confirmation, and the gospel today would have been perfect for baptism and confirmation, but nonetheless we'll adjust. So last week Bishop Scott referenced the first week of Advent and the candle of Advent representing hope. Today, in the second week, the candle represents peace. We hear again from Isaiah in the first reading, and John the Baptist in the Gospel of Matthew, and we heard from Matthew last week as well. They are both iconic figures in Advent. And last Sunday, Isaiah inspired us with a vision of peace when swords are beaten into plowshares. Today he speaks of a state of harmony, when a lamb can lie down with a wolf. Isaiah paints a picture of a wise and just leader who brings peace to the world. Not imagine that all creatures would get along because they became all alike. Rather, they became unaggressive in order to coexist. Likewise, today, St. Paul, in his letter to the Romans, telling them in the second reading, encouraged the Romans to think in harmony with one another. He draws people to the church from all backgrounds, from all cultures, and from all nations. So he does not expect that they all think alike and behave the same way, but he prays that all might think and act and work in harmony. Many backgrounds, one accord. Many languages, but one voice. We also hear today of justice in the first reading, and in the psalm today. The biblical meaning of justice means treating people equitably. It also means granting people their rights. Those who need justice are those who have no rights: the stranger, the immigrant, the widow, and the orphan. And today, these are poor and oppressed. Those are the poor and oppressed among us, and still today, all the minority groups, ethnicities, religions, orientations, and socioeconomic statuses. Justice doesn't mean an eye for an eye. Pursuing justice in life is a greater worth than religious ritual, according to Matthew 20-23. The love of justice is a virtue. Justice must lead to honesty, even in the mundane business transactions. Yet Christians may not take justice into their own hands. Just law is the law that reflects God's standards, not our human reasoning. Because He is just, God never shows partiality or favoritism. The New Testament emphasizes that we all will be evaluated according to our works. And today, in the Gospel, John the Baptist, in speaking to the Pharisees and the Sadducees, he accuses them of being insincere and presumptuous. He calls them to repentance, demanding that they produce good fruit as evidence. We hear also John proclaim, "Prepare ye the way of the Lord." John the Baptist calls for repentance so that all may bear good fruit. Repentance means nothing if we do nothing. It's not just about saying we're sorry, but changing our ways. You've heard the old saying, actions speak louder than words. I've also been known a time or two to say, I'll believe it when I see it. When we deal with personal injustices, it often takes us time to forgive the other person because we're looking and searching for that change of behavior. It's at this time, too, that we should take action in our own hearts. Let go and let the peace flow through. We're all called to bear fruit in the workplace, communities, our world, to bring about the kingdom that John eagerly anticipates. Imagine the harmony we can create when all of us ready ourselves for Jesus' coming. But John cautions us to prepare now for the one who is to come. And the one way is through peace. Jesus spoke about peace on several occasions. During the Sermon on the Mount, he taught that peacemakers are blessed and will be called God's sons. Then at the Last Supper, as Bishop Scott also referenced, he told his disciples that he would leave them soon, but comforted them, saying, "Peace I leave you, my peace I give you. I don't give it as the world gives you. Do not let your hearts be troubled and do not be afraid." On the cross, he became our sacrificial lamb, dying for humanity's sins once and for all. And in doing so, he made peace between humanity and God. And Bishop Scott also spoke last week about the kingdom being at hand. The kingdom is now. The kingdom is today. For us to manifest on earth as it is in heaven. You might have noticed a little bit of a pattern today between the readings: harmony, justice, and peace. Those remembering where peace lies on the map of consciousness in our small groups letting go, it's one step away from enlightenment. Today, let us examine our actions and produce good fruit and be peacemakers. Amen.
Amen.